Hello, this is Walter Smith on BlueMoonRisingTV, back for another week of Walter's Glass Half Full. So without further ado, Blues, let's have a look at some of those comments. Freddie Pie, what's your take on Pep to United? The rag-ridden media boys are getting desperate. What, do you mean with headlines like this, this, and this? Why would Pep actually go to a club in turmoil, lacking any coherent plan or even direction? One journalist actually called him a coward if he didn't join Manchester United. I'd actually call him a fool if he did. With Manchester United's quick rebuffal, they're starting to actually remind me of the young lad in the playground, and he sends over his best mate to ask out the object of his desire. When the mate actually returns with the bad news, no, our Romeo decides to announce to the whole schoolyard, well, I didn't even like her anyway. If, and it's a big if, these reports are actually true that Pep met with a hierarchy of Manchester United, I for one would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in those meetings. Ed Woodward actually trying to sell his vision of Manchester United. The setup of the club has actually crumbled, I feel, since David Gill and Alex Ferguson decided to depart. The fans are actually in open revolt at Manchester United at the moment with Louis van Gaal, and he seems to be losing any grip he ever had on a bit of reality. His press conferences at the moment are just comedy gold. Calling journalists fat men. Fans actually booing him during the game, half-time, and at the end of matches. Louis van Gaal at the moment has a worse record than David Moyes. Yeah, that David Moyes. They spent a king's ransom and ended up with the Emperor's new clothes. Louis van Gaal actually telling us that he's let the fans down. It's almost like him telling us that the Titanic never made it to America. I've had United fans actually tell me that Pep would only actually manage a club with history. Well, that puts Liverpool and Preston firmly in the frame then, doesn't it? Pep will actually go where I feel he can write his own history and enhance his own reputation. So, Freddie, am I actually concerned about these rumours? In a word, no. And before any Manchester United fan actually gets too angry with me in the comments below, what you should be doing is getting mad at those Glaziers. They're the guys that have actually let you down. DH Gaming, 1807 22, gutted. Feel your pain, mate. Like any Blue, I wasn't happy that we didn't take all 3 points. But West Ham, the no mugs, they actually haven't lost at home since August. Once again, Aguero was our saviour. For me, he's the best player playing in England. He was a whisker away from getting a hat-trick. And he got a penalty. Yes, a real-life penalty. I thought that both teams actually played bright attacking football, and a draw seemed to me about a fair result. Let's be honest here, it was actually a great advert for the Premier League. That Aguero lob, where the ball spinned and it hit off the post, could have been a contender for goal of the season. Let's take a moment just to reflect upon how good was that Joe Hart save. The speed he covered the ground and the shape of his body to actually get a hand to it. The strength in his wrist to actually knock the ball up and over the bar. Paya, if you're actually watching, was running off, ready to celebrate. And let's not forget, Arsenal still got a rock up at Upton Park, and West Ham turned them over 2-0 at the Emirates. Patrick Daly, Walter, are you a Pellegrini in or a Pellegrini out? Well, anyone who's watched any of my previous videos will know I'm a firm believer of Pellegrini in. I'll lay out why I think it should be Pellegrini in, and you let me know in the comments below if you disagree. Is Manuel Pellegrini perfect? No. Does he make decisions during games that baffles me? Yes. This week I spent a bit of time actually looking at fan cams from other clubs. Well, just for the lols. And I saw Wenger out. Louis van Gaal out. I agree with that one though. This season, I've seen Jose out, Rodgers out. Now, I don't actually care about these guys, but I do care about Pellegrini, and here's why. Pellegrini is gone in the summer. Gone, finito, finished. At the time of recording, we're actually still in 4 major competitions. We've topped a Champions League group for the first time in our history, and because we finished top, we're not drawn against Barca bleeding Lona. We're second in the Premier League, 3 points off the top. I checked at the bookies, we're favourites to win the League Cup, and we're still in the FA Cup after battering Norwich in the 3rd round. Sacking Pellegrini could now cause absolute chaos, and who would you replace him with? Do City fans actually want a Rafa-type character to see us through to the end of the season? If you're a Pellegrini outer, who would you actually like to see appointed short term? Tell me in the comments below. We all know that the 1-year contract extension for Pellegrini was so he could steady the ship and almost like a golden handshake. And so for them reasons, I'm actually going to get behind Manuel Pellegrini for the rest of this season. I don't want any short-term manager coming into Manchester City just to take over the reins. Now, hopefully, Manuel Pellegrini is going to go out on a high and win us some silverware. So that about sums up another week of Walter's Glass Half Full. And if you need some positivity injected into your world, get tapping below. Oh, time for another.